Hey. This is a petty politic. A petty politic today. And the name of the subject is wow. Your dreams have been deferred again. I'm just trying to be petty, right? Of course, this is the petty politic. And we are talking about TPS or the temporary protection status that the Trump organization seems to be hell bent on turning back, right? And that's like it's a humanitarian program that we have here in the United States that offers temporary relief to nations from other countries experiencing severe crises such as armed conflict, natural disasters, or other extraordinary conditions. So this is what the Trump administration is turning back on a lot of people, which they have done in the past couple of months. They've given temporary status to certain groups, namely the white African immigrants, but they revoked it for several groups of immigrants, including the Venezuelans. I mean, early they terminated the TPS for the Venezuelans. I think it was like 350,000 Venezuelans that they turned back or they terminated the TPS status. And it was granted by the Biden administration. Okay, this was made by the Department of Homeland Security that wanted to say the extension was lost or their TPS was lost. Was lost and the protection was gone. So they removed this TPS. And so all of these people got their statuses revoked. And darn near all of these people voted for Trump. I just don't understand how you can just vote for somebody or you can vote for self-deportation by voting. And this is what they did to themselves. This termination has what is it? Severe consequences. Because remember that arugula gang, 45 Venezuelan employees on unpaid leave. All of these people had to leave or face termination. What is this getting to self-deport? Haitians, they're getting knocked off. Wow. Their TPS extension is going to be taken away. I think it's like 500,000 of those people. 500,000 of those people, if their TPS their temporary order is going to be terminated come August 3rd, unless they extend it, and they don't have any plans to extend the Haitian TPS holders, stay here. And that they have let the white South African group come to the United States under a TPS. So we know Venezuela, we know Haitians, we know the Afghans, we know all of these people, their statuses are going to be terminated. Of course, they have legal challenges for such a thing. Okay? But I don't think it's going to work because Trump wants to get rid of all of the foreigners except the ones that he wants to stay in the United States. Now, all of these people voted for Trump. It was a big, overwhelming majority of these people who voted for Trump. But here's the thing. There are legal challenges. Okay? There are legal challenges. But the courts have been appointed by Trump. So it's probably going to be a problem with these people staying here. And this is what we have to fight for. When he can at will turn people away because he wants to. This is the problem that we're going to have. People have to fight for the right for them to honor the TPSs that Biden put into place. Are they going to honor that? Are people going to help people stay in the country because they want to revoke certain rights for certain people? But this is a temporary stay if they do, because lately the Trump administration has been ignoring all of the things that the Supreme Court or judges have handed down in regards to these people being able to stay. Now, August 3rd, I guess, may be the next. It may be the next deadline. But if it's the next deadline, 9,000 of those Afghans as well. But I don't know the deadline for them. Okay. I see it says determine the conditions in Afghan no longer met the statute. Oh, okay. So Afghan, they also ended the TPS for the Afghans. 9,000 of those people who have been granted protections following U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. DHS determined that the conditions in Afghan no longer met the statutory requirements for TPS, leading to the termination of their protections. So they have no protections, and now they're going to start to deport 9,000 Afghans. So what do we do about those people that are being challenged and thrown out the door? Okay. Of course, some of these deportations are going to be stopped, but overall, they're not going to be stopped. So most people are going to be hitting the door, hitting the border, on a plane, self-deport, not self-deport, and yet and still they're still in trouble. They're still in danger if they go back. Yet we're going to have legal battles. But here's the thing. This TPS was voted on by our American people. Our American people voted on this. The American people wanted this. If you did not understand what deportation for immigrants meant, you should have been reading. You should have been reading. It meant, see, here's the thing. When someone sees a brown person or a black person or a whatever type person, they feel like this person may be a foreigner. We never know. They might have an accent. You never know. How do you know the difference between somebody who belongs here and somebody who doesn't? If you're not listening to them. If I tell you I don't belong in a country and I have an accent and I belong here and I have paperwork and I just can't show you the paperwork, are you really going to take the time to figure out if I belong here or not? This is what's been happening because we have American people over in the jail in El Salvador, one of the worst prisons in the country. We have people being deported that should not be deported. Those are not all, what are they called? We wanted to make sure that he deported criminals. 9 times out of 10, those are not criminal. And we're talking about violent criminals. These are not violent criminals. Being in the country illegally doesn't mean you're a violent criminal. It doesn't specifically mean you're a criminal. It's more along the lines of well, I wouldn't say criminal. I wouldn't say dangerous criminal. I'd say, oh, well, maybe that's why people think it's okay. Maybe that's why people thought it was okay in order to allow this to happen. You thought because they came into the country illegally, somehow, some way, that they were dangerous. I'm just trying to figure out the logic behind people still supporting this particular way of getting rid of people out of the country. Just pick somebody up off the street. They look foreign. They speak with an accent, and we just gonna take them. Because if they were that concerned about it, they wouldn't be going. If they were just getting rid of if they were just getting rid of the violent criminals, they wouldn't be going after people with the status of TPS. They wouldn't be going after the status of the DACA people. They wouldn't be going after these kind of statuses if they were worried about just violent criminals. And that's how I know it's not about violent criminals. It's about anybody that's black or brown. And this is a very important reason to fight against this, especially if you're a black or brown person. But we got a lot of black and brown people who voted for this, who didn't think it was going to be their family. They didn't think it was going to be their neighbor. On top of the white folks who didn't think it was going to be their family member, or wasn't going to be their kid when they decided they were going to vote for Project 2025. When the Orange Thug said, I don't know anything about Project 2025. And this, what is happening now, is exactly what was put in the Project 2025. So how do we stop such a thing? So how do we stop this behavior? How do we stop what's happening? You have to vote. When it comes to when it comes to the midterms, you have to vote these people out. You have to vote these people out. Because I'm pretty sure most people didn't vote for a recession. I'm pretty sure most people didn't vote for a tariff affecting them. Though goodness knows, only the smart people knew that they was going to be affected. Amazon, shout out to Amazon raising the prices. Shout out to Walmart raising their prices. And the average poor person is the only people that go to Walmart, shop at Walmart, and shop at Amazon. Yet we're going to have to pay the price for that. Well, we're just going to have to go down the rabbit hole with all the people that voted for him. I didn't vote for him, and now I'm in the rabbit hole right along with you. So how do we stop it? The only way we can stop it is to vote them out during the midterm season. Because it doesn't seem as though the Republicans are stopping them from terminating TPS, or temporary status, temporary protection status. They're not concerned about protecting anyone except maybe their pocket. So the violations of TPS are going to continue. We know for a fact it's happened in Afghanistan. It happened for the Haitians. It happened for the Venezuelans. It happened for the Mexicans. It's going to continue to happen because this administration has an agenda. And as long as they have an agenda of getting rid of black and brown people, and you might not say it's you, but it's somebody you know, it will be somebody you know. Because if you don't help and stop, if you don't stand up for these people, there's going to be nobody to stand up for you. And I'm a part of that 92%. That 92% that voted for Vice President Harris, I'm part of the 92%. So we have decided, as a part of the 92%, we want to see the rest of you guys stand up for yourselves. We want to see whether you really and truly wanted what came down the pike. So if you did not want that, then I suggest you stand up and start holding yourself accountable, holding this president accountable, holding all of these people accountable. Because we're not going to stay as the part of the 92%, we're not helping you anymore. We're not helping until we see the other group. These TPS, temporary protection status terminations, are alarming. We don't want to see people be in jail. We didn't want to see any of these things happen. Doesn't matter. Okay. Non-black. Yes, absolutely. Non-black or brown have been deported also. Of course. Those are white passing people. Of course, white passing people. Did they come in the country the right way? Doesn't matter whether they come in the right way. It matters if they get out of there the right way. Getting out of here the right way is called due process. And we all have the right to due process. As long as we don't have the right to due process, nobody has the right to due process. So the only way to stop any of this from happening is, midterm elections, because people in power right now are the rich people in power, and I can see more damage coming. Most people can see more damage coming, but we cannot do anything about that unless people become engaged and people start reading and people start understanding what the perils of this administration is about to rot. So these people who have this TPS, or this temporary protection status, this is, I think, it has been something that has been going on from the beginning, since the beginning. I mean, I think it's made by the U.S. Homeland Security, I guess, that allows nationals from certain countries experiencing ongoing armed conflict. But you notice that he brought foreigners into the country, but they were white African foreigners. White African foreigners. He brought those people into the country, and then threw all the black and brown people out the country. Of course, there's people that are not black and brown that are being thrown out. Of course. Okay, of course. But the whole point is, you're bringing foreigners in when you're throwing other foreigners out, and you're throwing out good foreigners. So why not worry about whether we have good foreigners yet first, before you start throwing out or bringing more foreigners back in? That's the problem that I have, right? That's the problem that I have. El Salvador, Haiti, I think Honduras, Nicaragua, Sudan, Nepal, all of these terminations affected hundreds of thousands of people who have been living and working in the United States. Now they have to go. Okay? Lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. Okay? And of course, there's legal challenges and all of that, but it will continue to happen because this is a lawless presidency. Unfortunately, people have to read in order to understand why it's a lawless presidency, right? It doesn't make you. We understand. We understand. Stop saying that. We understand that they're not supposed to be here. That's not the point. The point is, there should be a way that they are removed from the country. There should be a way that they are let into the country. Not any way you feel like throwing them out. You can't just throw them out. That's not what our Constitution says. You have to follow the Constitution. You have to be legal when you do it. Doesn't matter whether they came legally or illegally. We have a right. We have to follow procedures when we get rid of people. Okay? And they're not following the law. So I'm saying we have to do what we have to do. If we don't like what's happening, we have to do what we have to do. Okay? It's sad but true. What's the deal? I mean, there's nothing that says land of opportunity quite like getting a pink slip to hundreds of thousands of people who've been living and working and paying taxes in the United States for decades. The Trump administration wants to make America great again. I don't get it. You letting people leave from South Africa and come here. That's not fair. It's not right in no way, shape, or form. There's a whole bunch of people around the planet that are here because of humanitarian reasons. Earthquakes, genocidal wars, all of those kind of things. And yet and still they're getting deported when we know that you all made up what you made up for the white South Africa, or you made up a reason for them to come here. It was Elon Musk's idea. It had to be. Okay. It wasn't really the conditions in Haiti and El Salvador. The problem was they weren't fitting into the look or mold that this administration wanted. They gotta go. I I gotta uplift. Yeah, I gotta. I don't get it. Please don't. I can't engage with you if you don't read. I can't engage with you if you don't read about it. I don't care whether they're supposed to be here or not. They're supposed to be taken out of this country in a specific way. We don't just get to throw people out because they got here. There's all kinds. Do you know that there's just as many people, white people here, that there are Mexican people here? I bet you a lot of people don't know that either. There's just as many white people here illegally than there is Mexican people. But yet and still they're not getting deported like the Mexican people or the El Salvadorian people or the Haitian people. I remember I was on Tasha K show. I was on Tasha K show a couple months back, and I said, "Hey Tasha, they're gonna start kicking the black folk out. They're gonna start kicking out them Africans and them Haitians and whatnot." She said, "No, they not gonna kick us out. They not gonna kick out my relatives. They not gonna kick out the black people." Now she know better. Now she know better. That TPS means nothing. Okay? Temporary protection status means nothing. Yeah, there's been whites that have been deported. Of course, of course. Okay? Of course. Doesn't matter what it what's the plan for all these people to just go back just to get thrown out? Doesn't matter if your country is still a disaster zone, a war zone. Doesn't matter if you've been here since 1990. You've had the TPS. It doesn't matter whether they've been here all that long. Pack your shit up and sayonara to your American born children, your American born grandkids. But if you gave me protection status, TPS, when I was 18 years old, and I've been here since I was 18, I guess, I don't know how long it takes to become a citizen or whatever. But if I've had TPS all this time and I've had children here, I've had grandchildren here, I'm just supposed to leave this country, all my grandkids, or take them to a country they've never been to before. So it was just a game that we were playing. Yet they contribute more than they take away from this country. And it's less. My whole point is, why would you even ask for them to leave when they're not making or breaking this country at all? They're contributing to the economy and all of that. Why would you even be concerned about them being here? But it's okay if it touches them. That's my whole point. It's okay if it touches them. But if it touches you, then we got a problem. Okay. But it's all about the anti-immigrant. It's just not. It's not about law and order or anything like that. It's just about getting rid of black and brown people, primarily. That's all it is. Because it's a level of discrimination that I never thought. Well, I guess I did think black people had that level of discrimination or that level of not prejudice. I don't know what it's called, bias or bigotry. Because of the way that black and brown people were treated when here, that they would still have that kind of bigotry and feeling about somebody that's not even from here. I mean, I just don't get it. How you understand discrimination, and yet you have discrimination against people that are black and brown. I just don't get that. I don't know. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredibly painful to see these families torn apart. especially when these families supported this president, supported our leaders, supported our platforms, and all of these things. Just because somebody wants to roll back, that's why we know. That's why we know. That's how I know it has nothing to do with immigrants. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with brown and black people. That's it. Because if it was because the whole argument was we're trying to get rid of violent criminals, even though we know that most immigrants are less violent than regular normal Americans. We were only going to get rid of the violent kind. If you were only getting rid of the violent kind, why would you be going to get or change the TPS? Why would you be why would that be even a focus of yours to damage that particular program? Why would you even go about? Why would you try to end DACA if it was all about criminals? And the DACA people are not criminals. The DACA people have done everything they were supposed to do. All of these things, all the way up until trying to get to be. If it was all about that, if it was just all about criminals, none of these programs would be touched. So I know it's not about criminals. It's not about immigrants who are criminals. It's about black and brown people. And the fact that they tried to get rid of black people in the military. They tried to get rid of Tuskegee Airmen and all that they represented. The fact that they tried to get rid of all of those things, the museum that Obama they dedicated into Obama's name, the Black Museum. The fact that they tried to get rid of those things tells me it's about trying to get rid of black and brown people. And we have black and brown people co-signing this bullshit. No, we're not trying to focus on. That's what you don't get, Ty Pro. They're not trying to focus on your black ass. They're trying to focus on the white people. And y'all don't get that. They're focusing on the white people. They're not trying to help no black folks. Otherwise, we would see you're trying to get everybody co-sign getting rid of DEI because they thought it was a black thing. And then black folks go along with that shit. That's the bad part. I don't know how we gonna turn back the clock now. I don't understand how we gonna do that. But TPS, them destroying the TPS program, Temporary Protection Status Program, is a big start with being able to get rid of black and brown people at will whenever they feel like it. That's all he did. That's all this administration did was say, oh, those Venezuelan people are dangerous. They invaded our country, even though I think 350,000 got the TPS, the temporary protection status. 350,000, 9,000 Afghanistans. All of them had TPS. Now those are terminated. So you just up and tell all of them to get out? Oh, of course. Okay. But yet and still, we open up the borders and let Africa. It wasn't about immigration. It's not about immigration. It's about color. And it pisses me off when I hear black people advocating for people to get kicked out of the country. Okay? Wasn't nobody eating no cats and dogs. Ty Pro, you too smart for that. Please. You too smart for that. You know that was not the truth. You know this. You too smart for that. Please don't repeat those talking points that idiot orange thug put in front of the American public, and people ran towards it like a shiny light. You're too smart to believe that. But my whole point is this. It's all about strategic planning. Black folks need to start organizing. They need to start organizing. We need to start looking at how we can organize and stick together through this uh what is it, recession or whatever's coming, right? I don't want any people to get deported. I was just fine I was just fine a couple months ago before the I was just fine a couple years ago before the pandemic hit. We just fine. Why do we need some kind of overhaul? I don't understand why people think we needed some kind of overhaul in the system. We didn't need an overhaul in the system. I don't understand what was that all about. It's not our fight. I'm not fighting. I'm part of the 92%. I'm a part of the 92% that said I'm not fighting anybody. We not helping. We're not helping nobody until you all want to help yourself. Until you all understand what's going on. Until you understand that this president wants to whiten this country and get rid of you dark-skinned folks and you Mexican folks. Soon as we can't help you until you figure that out. For some reason, we could see it, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But I came on here just to talk about the TPS and the way and the reason why they're destroying that whole program, because they don't want people to be here that are not like them. It's a whole nother conspiracy thing. I mean, it's not a conspiracy, but it's a whole nother thing that this is going on. But I'm saying we can't allow this to continue. The whole point is we can't do nothing until this midterms, because all of the Republicans are going along with this program. And as long as they go along with this program, we're going to be in for this problem. And I fear that we're going to have a recession that hits before we can do anything about this problem or this issue or this presidency. But we can't do anything about it now because we have so many people. Of course, people regret the votes. People regret who they voted for. People regret that they voted for this particular president. I didn't vote for this president. I was never going to vote for this president because I read Project 2025. So I knew that I knew what direction he was going to go. And it wasn't a good direction for Black people. That's why the bulk of us didn't vote for him. That's why. Because we knew it was going to be a bad deal. And we have been proven right all the way down the line. Unfortunately, we got to just deal with it for as long as we got to deal with it. Yeah. The white nationalists feel like we have a white nationalist president. And as long as we feel like we have a white nationalist president, I hope you guys are hitting the like button. This is one of the first streams that I am doing under A Petty Politic. This is the name of this channel, and I am doing this under the Petty Politic and the Petty Politic and the what the hell is it? The HQ Reacts channel. This is the Petty Politic and the HQ Reacts channel that we're doing this live stream under. Okay. Because the Petty Politic is the new channel that I launched, which is a political channel and not a regular reaction channel. So I just have to hook it up together because one can't go live without the other. So this is why we are here for that, right? So the Petty Politic channel, which is what this is going to be reaction content to political news. And the HQ Reacts is going to be react. Oh, by the way, you send me any kind of reactions that you want me to do. Send them to @HQ Reacts. Send them there and I will get them and I will react to them if you want me to react to them. I will primarily be on the HQ Reacts, but on the Petty Politic will be political events that happen. in the world, which is every goddamn day as far as I'm concerned, because this president just act up every damn day. So we probably have something that we will put up every evening uh, regarding politics. Maybe a reaction video, maybe a reaction to something someone said, done, policy. It doesn't matter. But this one was about TPS, temporary protection status, being terminated by the Trump administration, all because they are afraid of the black and the brown people. So there's plenty of people being deported without due process and all of that good stuff. So please hit a like button. Please hit a like. I need the like on both channels. No, subscribe to both channels. The Petty Politic channel is called A Petty Politic, and the HQ Reacts, please and thank you. Please hit the like buttons for that on both channels if you can. Subscribe if you can on the other channel. Hopefully we can get to 5,000 subscribers here on the HQ Reacts. We want to get to the 500 subs in the Petty Politic. However, but that's just going to be content being uploaded without going live. I'm going to try to go live on the A Petty Politic once a week or twice a week, and then the rest will be reaction videos. So please be interested in that content. Please be interested in hitting the like button. The name of it is A Petty Politic. I forgot how to I forgot. Drop the link for this right here. Paste. No crazy. Why should we care about people getting deported? Because they're trying to get rid of black and brown people. They're trying to get rid of black and brown people. And we're one of the marginalized communities. Okay. They tried to get rid of the Tuskegee airmen stuff. They tried to get rid of the museum that Obama is started. They tried to get rid of black statues, those kind of things. So they're trying to erase black people too. So we're all in the same boat. I don't understand why y'all don't get that we're all trying to be erased. Oh, okay. That's the new link. Shh. Man, I be doing some dumb shit sometimes. I be on some other shit. Ish. Okay. How do you get to that link? The Petty Politic link. See, my thing is this. How the hell do I get to? It's the YouTube at Petty Politic, right? Okay. Hold on. Let me drop that link. It's that YouTube. www.youtube/ I hate fucking with this shit. YouTube.com. Okay. Hold on. I'm doing that. YouTube.com/A Petty PETTY Politic. A Petty Politic. Look. Okay, there it is. It's at Petty Politic. I'm sorry. I think that's the right one. But then I could be wrong because .com/ is .com/. I knew it was something. www.youtube.com/ at A Petty Politic. I got to get used to .com. I got to get used to looking at /.com at. Okay, there you go. /.com at. There it is. That's the right one. But anyway, this is going to be Citizens Are Welcome American. But you cannot get rid of people without due process. And if you read the 5th and the 14th, you cannot get rid of the people just like that because you want to. Okay? Holy shit. I didn't know people would want to come up. I was just up here talking. Okay.
Peace.
Hello, Black America and Pan Mulattism. Hello.
How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. That's the second one. The second one is the right one. However you write them freaking YouTube things. YouTube came up here for what? pan mulattism. You came up for what? What's happening?
Yes, what's happening? And I just came to say that the illegal aliens came into the country with no due process. They just hopped the border and came in illegally. So
Hmm.
there is no due process necessary to deport them. They must all be mass deported immediately.
That's the whole point. Our Constitution says you cannot get rid of them unless they go through due process.
The Constitution
Whether
does
we
not.
want, whether we want them to be here or not, our Constitution says they have a right to due process. How do you know they're illegal? How do you
Now,
know they're illegal?
allow me to respond to that. It'll be so brief. The Constitution does not apply to illegal aliens
How do you know that they're illegal aliens?
because they have no
Because
social security numbers.
right,
How,
they weren't born here, HQ.
hold on. How do you know they don't have a social security number?
You could literally just run their names, and if they have no social security number, they must be immediately deported.
Social security number doesn't come up in those kind of background checks. How do you know that?
If they are unable to provide a social security number, they must be deported immediately.
But how do you know they don't? Babies don't have social security numbers. Kids don't have social security numbers. So how do you?
Actually, they do. Actually, they do.
They come
Respectfully,
in 6 weeks.
They don't. No, they don't. If their parents didn't get them a social security number, they wouldn't have a social security number.
That's not true, HQ.
that's not true. HQ.
It's true. I'm a mother and I've given birth to children, so I do know.
And
I
and
got
I
three
have
kids.
16 kids.
I'm about to say
I
I
got
got three
16
kids.
The
kids.
point is, how do you know if a person never went and got a social security number? That doesn't come up in a background check.
All
If
my
you
kids got
if
social
you run,
security numbers.
if you stop me if you stop me in a car, you can't run my social security number right then.
Okay, so
Only
can I
thing
say
you have,
something right quick?
the only thing you
Hold
have is
on,
ID. If I give
hold
you
on.
your ID,
Hey, HQ, do you remember in the 90s, in the late 80s, early 90s, all the way basically into the beginning of the 2000s,
mhm,
our driver license, our IDs, they had our social security numbers on them. Don't you remember that?
you can voluntarily put it on there, but it's not legally.
No,
You don't
but
have to.
they had. But that's what I'm saying. They had them on there because
But,
us as American citizens all have Social Security.
but
I'm
you don't
sorry, HQ.
have it.
I
You
don't know.
don't
I just
have it on there.
I just don't agree with it. Somebody that has been pulled over by the police
Right.
thousands of times, somebody that has been to jail and to prison
Mhm,
a copious amount of times,
mhm.
knows that yes, as an American citizen, they all they do is pull up your name and your social security number comes right up with your shit. It absolutely does.
And so, why would they be stopping me to check my ID? How would they know to check? How would they know
No,
to
we talking about the
no,
illegal
hold on,
aliens right
hold on.
now.
How would they
Yeah,
know I'm an illegal?
not you.
No,
You're
no.
black.
Hey,
You're a black American.
okay, but
You're
they don't
you're
know
a black American.
they
When
Haitian.
they when
I could be
go
Haitian. You don't know.
So that's
well
why we'll
then
run your name and see if you're Haitian or not. We gotta
right.
run your name to see
So
if
why
you're a
would
U.S. citizen,
but
and
I'm
if
saying
you're not, then you
why would
gotta get deported
but I'm saying why would I need to be deported just because you can't find my social security number?
because that's indicative that you're not a U.S. citizen.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Respectfully,
Older people that don't have social security numbers too.
I
So
have not met not one
that is
older
not
elder.
that is not a reason for you to
HQ, my mom is older than you and she got a
yeah,
social security number.
but some
Come
Exactly.
on,
but some
HQ.
people didn't. Some people don't. You have to go through a process to deport people. You cannot just say, "Hey, you look Haitian. Hey, you look Mexican. Let me run your ID." You don't get to do that. That's
Well,
not
Nope.
respectfully, the
Now
process is.
so
Go
now
ahead,
I
brother.
didn't
Go
say
ahead,
do
brother.
that. So now I didn't say do that. I didn't say pull somebody over just because they look Haitian or just because they look Mexican.
Hmm.
No matter my dislike for Africans or
So
or
when
Haitians.
when
Hold,
you
hold
pull
on.
me over, and
And
you
ask for your ID.
can't find any ID, I don't have to give you an ID if I'm an American. You didn't pull me over. I'm
Yes,
walking.
you do. You absolutely have to identify yourself
I'm
as an
walking,
American citizen.
but no, but I'm walking around, and you pull me up or you pull me over. You do any of those things, I still am supposed to have due process, regardless of whether I was born here or
You're a
not.
U.S. citizen, though, sis.
It does.
Respectfully.
The Constitution says I,
Where just
even though I,
okay? What
even
what
though even
amendment?
though I'm not
What
an
part of the
American,
Constitution says that? What
the
what what part
fifth
of the
and the 14th,
Constitution says that?
the
The
fifth,
14th Amendment was for slave.
um,
What part of the
the,
Constitution
the
it says?
fourth, the fifth and the 14th Amendment says I am afforded due process,
That doesn't
regardless,
apply to the
as
illegal
as in a
aliens.
citizen.
regardless of whether I'm a U.S. citizen or not. I am afforded due process. The Fifth and the 14th Amendment says I'm afforded due process,
Can you pull them up and read them?
regardless of whether I'm American or not. So
Can
therefore,
you pull them up and read them?
yeah,
Can you pull those?
I
Yeah, go
am.
ahead. Let's pull them up and
What
walk through it. Let's
what
pull it up and walk through it.
Fifth and 14th Amendment. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me read it. Let me look. Let me pull it up. Fifth Amendment and the 14th Amendment. Okay. It says, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. That's the Fifth Amendment. Where does it say?
Okay.
Where does it say
Okay.
American or citizen?
Yes, I can respond to that and watch how brief my response is.
Mhm.
The due process was the social security check that came up that they didn't have one. Now you got to go.
No,
That's the due process.
it's a formal procedure.
That's the formal procedure. The background
No,
check. Do you
no,
have the? Well,
no.
where does it say that in the amendment? With all due respect,
Who's still?
exactly. That's a great point. Even though you interrupted very
No,
rudely.
no. You go by the law. The law, the 14th Amendment says, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Where does it say American?
Well, I already responded to
Hold
that. The
on,
due
hold on,
process.
hold on.
Unless you was asking a question.
That's why Kilmar Garcia, they're making a big stink about that young man because he did not get due process. That is why
That's not true though, sis.
hold on. That's why the Supreme Court has told the Trump administration to bring him back because he did not have due process. Regardless of whether you are a foreigner, whether you're an illegal immigrant, whether you're an American citizen, you have to go through due process. He did not go through due process, so that means that's illegal. The Fifth and the 14th Amendment. If it said American citizen, I would be on your side, but it doesn't. The Supreme Court says it doesn't, and the Supreme Court is
So,
the
so it
law.
has to specifically American citizen.
Yes, it has to say American. It has to say citizen. It has to say
Well,
that. It
let's
does
not speed
not.
past what she said. Are you aware that?
It just
All right,
says
go ahead.
person. Person. That's it. It
Yes,
doesn't
and
say citizen.
respectfully, are you aware that Kilmar had multiple deportation orders against them. Judges have already ruled. In
And
addition,
in
all right,
June,
go
and
ahead,
it
make your point.
was June, and it was in June. It was in the 16th. What is it? 2016. That a judge said he could not be deported
So
without
he
due
had,
process, and they
yeah,
deported
he
him without due
he
process.
received the due process, and with all due respect,
He had a withholding
all right,
order.
go ahead.
You
Can
can't
I
just
ask a question, just for
yes.
clarity? All right, these illegal aliens came to the country illegally. They broke the law. So why are we trying to figure out every litigious or legal measure to help keep them in our country? No, they all must go immediately.
Yeah, can you say something to that fact? Because that is, I mean, they didn't come in legally. It's illegal to come into a country without
Exactly.
going through the process of it. So
Exactly.
Okay.
if that's a law,
Okay. So
if that's a law, did
you
they break
snuck.
the
So
law?
you snuck into my country, or I say you snuck into my country, or you decided that I came in here illegally. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But there
Did you bring
has to be a process
caveat?
to determine that. You cannot just grab people off the street and throw them out.
I'm not going. What I'm asking is, I'm not asking all the caveats. The finding out a person
Why,
comes
if they
into the
snuck in,
country
why you can't
illegally.
grab
Wait a
them
minute.
off the street?
Somebody's mic is messed up. Who is it?
But he asked a great question. If they
Yeah,
snuck in
yeah,
Hold on,
illegally,
yeah,
hold on.
yeah,
why we
Jay.
can't just grab
Yeah,
them and throw them
Jay,
out?
your
Hey,
mic is
hold
bad.
on, man. Hold on. Jay is
Is that
speaking.
my mic?
It's Joe. Yeah, it's Jay. It's your audio. Woo.
It's my audio.
Yes. It's terrible.
But the question he asked was a powerful question. Since they snuck in illegally, why we can't grab them up and throw them out immediately?
Because we are a nation of laws. And
And they
just
broke our laws.
hold on. Just because they broke the law doesn't mean we break the law.
Yes, it does,
No,
respectfully. It
no,
incentivizes
that's not how that
immediate
works.
action. Well, it's
Law
working now.
law enforcement cannot just break the law because you broke the law.
But they
That
do it every day to us.
that's not
They
how that works.
it does work. They violate our rights every day, respectfully. Think
Get
about
out
how
of
many
your
black
sir,
Americans are in jail.
sir. Get
All right,
out
go
of
ahead,
your
make your point.
feelings and follow the Constitution.
No, everything I'm saying is logical. It
Get
has
out of
nothing to do
your
with a.
feelings and
All right, go
follow
ahead.
the Constitution. The
All right, can I respond to
Constitution.
that?
Hold on.
All right, go ahead.
Constitution says we are all afforded due process. It does not say only American citizens are afforded due process. It says people are afforded due process, which means you have to go through a process to kick a person out. That's why they have detention facilities. That's why they hold you and put and take you to a certain I guess facilities where they determine that you are illegal. They just don't throw you out the door. The Trump
Yes.
administration, the Trump administration has been throwing people out the door. You cannot do that. That is why the Supreme Court intervened. That is why judges have been intervening because you cannot just throw them out the door. Get out of your feelings and
Yeah.
read the
How's my
Constitution.
Yeah.
mic?
Well, please allow me to respond. It'll be brief. What I'm saying.
It
Anybody
sound
can
good.
come on the
It
panel.
sound good,
I didn't
Jay.
expect you
Please,
guys
one mic at a
to.
time. I'm trying to respond to the host. With all due respect, HQ, what I'm saying literally has nothing to do with emotions or feelings. I'm asking you a logical question. Do you know how many black Americans are mass incarcerated with our own rights being violated?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm
Okay,
pretty
so it
All
happens
right.
every day.
I don't. Okay. All right.
It
I'm
happens
sorry.
every day.
Let
I'm pretty sure.
let's stop this shit. Let's stop this shit. All right, young man. Now it's starting to sound like you one of these pro black brothers, and
No, I'm a
let's not.
mulatto. You had to read my name. I'm a
I,
mulatto.
I don't care what you are.
So why would you try to mischaracterize me?
People,
Get out of
because
your feelings, brother.
no, I don't have feelings. I'm an asshole.
Okay, so
I'm a
let's be
dirt.
logical. Let's be logical. Go ahead. Make
So
your point.
listen. When you go to jail, just
Right.
like I said, I have been to jail. I have prison. When people go to jail and or prison, a lot of the times it's because they have done something. It
Right.
and it doesn't matter that you went to jail because you have done something. If
Right.
you've done something, you actually belong in jail. It's called being accountable for the shit that you do. Okay? So I don't care about it's like a parent saying, oh, okay, well, you set the house on fire. I'm still going to give you cookies. No. Let's stop that bullshit right now, okay?
Yes, and brother, you
So,
might have missed the point. The point is that the Black Americans' rights are being violated. Why are we crying about illegal aliens' rights allegedly being violated? Did you understand the point?
but you gotta understand. Yes, but
Yes.
you gotta understand. Not all of us. This is something that HQ cares about, right? And I'm just trying to get to the substantial part of it to see why she cares about these people that aren't even American. I don't care about other races or nationalities. I care about American people. I
Well,
don't
I
care
mean,
about no
I
Chinese.
can answer
I
that
don't care
question.
So
about no
mute up and let her
Africans.
answer.
I,
Let
I can answer
let
it.
let HQ explain herself. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I can answer that question. It's because it would the if you're just deporting people who committed felonies or crimes or whatever, that's perfectly fine if you found those people. But that's not what's happening. You're just indiscriminately sending people back. If it was just about illegal criminals, if it was just about them, why do you need to go after DACA? Why do you need to go after the Haitian population? Why do you need to go after the Venezuelan population? Why do you need to go against the TPS orders that we have in place? Because you're not worried about criminals. This administration is not concerned about that. They're concerned about brown and
I,
black
I
people.
But every illegal alien is a
okay.
criminal by
So and
definition.
so and
I did.
so
I
because
didn't
they're
say
going to do
anything about criminals, HQ. I
but
didn't
since
say anything about criminals.
I'm saying
I'm
if
asking, why do you care about people other than Americans? I don't care if
because
they're criminals or not. American, we're all criminals here in America. Why do you care about other
but it's not a
people?
matter of caring.
Why?
It's not a matter of caring about immigrants or illegal immigrants. It's about the slippery slope that we continue to go down or we're going down. Why was it not a slippery slope for you guys when they tried to take the Tuskegee Airmen, all of their stuff out of the museum? Why wasn't it a big concern? Why didn't it even cross anybody's mind when they tried to shut down Obama's museum that was a black historical museum? Why wasn't there a concern when they said they don't want to put more black people into the armed forces? Why wasn't it a concern when all of the black people that were in positions of power were fired out of the Trump administration when he got hired? Why isn't this a concern? It's a slippery slope. If you get rid of them, they're going to figure out a way to get rid of the other black people. They're going to figure out a way to get rid of black people or become more white. This nation is doing that in front of us as we speak.
But HQ, you just said it.
Hold on. It
All
has
right.
nothing to do with just saying I love immigrants or anything else. It has to do with what is right and what is fair. You have to follow the law when you kick people out. We, as much as anybody, have a right to be here. But when you start to do those things that I mentioned, that tells me you don't have a care or a concern about the black folk that are here. So now I'm concerned.
Can I
But
say something
HQ, you
finally?
just said.
Can I say
Go ahead,
something
brother.
finally?
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I just is my how's this mic?
Yeah, it's fine. You're good.
Okay.
You're
I just
good.
wanted to say, when you say it's a slippery slope, I think we put in the cart before the horse. Yeah, they might be deporting some people that are unjustifiably deported,
Mhm.
but what is a country? How do you define what a country is? It has citizens, right? When you start letting people come in who, some of them are criminals, some of them have broken the law by coming in illegally. How can you control your country if you can't control the amount of people flooding into your country? And then those people, the companies are hiring those people for cheaper wages because they need to work. They're getting these other government programs and stuff like that, taking money out of taxpayers' pockets. How do we control that first before we even talk about getting rid of these people? How do we stop the people from coming in the first place? It's not, I don't care what color they are. You not American. If you want to be American, get in line like everybody else.
The point is,
buy into this American system and do just like everybody else is here. They taking money out of your pocket, HQ, out of Black's pocket, out of Pan's pocket, out of
no, they're
mine.
not. No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Are.
Yes, they are.
Contribute more than they take. They contribute more than they take.
What have they contributed?
Hold on. They pay taxes and everything else just like we do. Look it up. Y'all got Google just like me. They bring in more money than they use. They bring in more money than they use. Why are we concerned about people that won't affect us at all?
Do they have any loyalty to our country, HQ? When you look at it, okay, from a global perspective, you look at some place like Japan, right? You're not just gonna go over to Japan and buy land. You're not gonna just go to China and buy land if you're not a part of that country, because they know when you have a loyalty to a country, you tend to uphold the rules and regulations and conduct yourself as a member of that country. When you have so many people coming from Venezuela, from wherever, I know here there's a huge East Indian problem. Mm-hmm. Over time, the quality of products has gone down. The quality of service has gone down because those people weren't raised on the same standard they are raised like over here on the West. When you go to a place and it's different, HQ. I'm trying to tell you, I know you got a bleeding heart for these people, but it's different. And over time, and your grandkids are going to see it when they can't get into schools because some other bleeding heart person is going to set up something for these immigrants who haven't gone through due process to come into the country. They're going to be getting these programs. Oh, you get this grant to go to school. You get this grant to go to school. While your grandkids is going to have to either get a scholarship or work jobs and do all this extra stuff to get the same benefits as these immigrants. Watch, I'm just telling you, it's not the same.
So we don't have the collective mindset. We have the me mindset. We don't have a collective mindset.
It needs to be America first mindset.
What do you mean by that?
It needs to be America first mindset.
HQ, what do you
what I mean is everybody needs to be afforded that opportunity. We were based and founded on immigrants coming here and making something of themselves. Of course, we have illegal people here. Of course, we have a problem with the entrance. We have a problem with the entrance requirements when they have to come in here. That's the problem. It's not a matter of we being overrun by immigrants. That's what people think. Stop listening to Donald Trump.
No, certain time. No, it's not. I'm not. I don't even listen to Fox News. I don't listen to Donald Trump. I don't listen to anything.
It's our
what's going on out there. I look at state to state. I look at certain states and certain cities are being overwhelmed by a illegal immigrant population.
No, we're not. Where do you hear that from? No, we're not.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
Name the cities.
Let me say something right quick.
No, but the brother made a good point.
We're not being
look in Ohio. Look in the states. How can people in Venezuela get up to Ohio in mass?
Look at LA. Look at Chicago. Look at New York. Look at Boston. Look at DC. Like, we can name these traditionally black strongholds that are now being eradicated due to mass immigration.
No. So you're wrong there because California has.
Which part?
I'm from Cali. LA, South Central.
Yep.
It's always been Mexicans in
California. Let's have a dialogue.
Nevada.
Compton used to be majority black American. It's not no more. Checkmate. South Central used to be majority.
So I don't know how old you are. But when I was growing up, Compton was all farms, it was cows, and it was a bunch of Mexicans.
And now let's talk about the 80s and 90s. Checkmate. Compton used to be majority black American. It's not anymore. South Central.
Okay,
brother, let's have a dialogue, brother. I'm speaking about the communities that we built that are no longer majority ours anymore. Even parts of Houston, even Northwest DC, even. All right, make your point.
Listen. Calm down, brother. Take a breath, okay?
Brother, I'm calm.
What I'm saying is, What I'm saying is, niggas don't live there no more because they got money and moved out to Rancho Cucamonga, and they went up to Lancaster and Palmdale and all of the other places. Because when black people get money, they don't stay in the hood. All of the
And
rich
let me
kids that
respond to
was
that,
in
brother.
T
Let's not preach. Let's have a dialogue. Now, them same cities you just mentioned, are you denying that countless of the black Americans there are actually on Section 8 and low income housing as well? They were pushed out of
who's
South Central and Compton
who's
and Long Beach. Let's talk about it.
that?
Okay, so the point is this: the cities that, and I'll boil it all the way down, and I'll ask HQ a question. I'll ask the whole panel a single question:
What?
does flooding the U.S. with immigrants by the millions, does this lead to more majority Black American communities or less majority Black American communities? Simple question.
Well, let me answer that. There are no black communities anymore because when I was growing up, there used to be black families, fathers, now there's just a
Your
bunch
mic
of
is going.
women
Oh, go ahead.
and now there's just a bunch of women and children. So there
Uh huh.
aren't any communities because there are no men in the homes. It's only
Yes,
25 to 30% of married black people. It,
Yeah,
I
but
it's,
agree.
it,
just
it,
because you're not
it's
married
no
doesn't
longer
mean you're not a
community.
community
But
now.
he might have misunderstood the
Hold
question.
on. Let's be clear. Just
Oh man.
because there's no men and women that are married doesn't mean there's not a community. It just happened to be a
Exactly.
different look to the community. There's a
And I think he
community.
might have
No,
misunderstood the
no,
question. Hold on, brother.
no.
You
It's
misunderstood the question.
I don't
The
understand.
question is, the question is, does this lead to more majority Black American communities or less majority Black American communities? I mean, demographically, what does it lead to, brother? What's the accumulative effect of millions and tens of millions of immigrants
it,
influxing into the U.S.? It's not rocket science,
okay.
brother.
So
It
let
leads
me
to less
explain to
majority
you
Black
again.
American communities.
Let,
All right, go
no,
ahead.
I know. Let me explain to you again.
All
Both of
right,
my
go ahead.
grandmothers had homes. You know why? You know why? Because my grandfathers worked themselves to death. My mother had a home. You know why? Because my father worked himself to death. Now, there is no father in the home to work himself to death for these women, so they won't be able to keep and afford a home, young man. I, I
Yes,
don't I
I'm not
don't see
disagreeing with
I
that, but
don't
you're
see
not
how you don't
listening,
see
brother.
it.
Brother, you're not listening. I'm not disregarding the other problems within the Black American community. Right now, we're just speaking about mathematics. We're speaking about demographics. I'm asking a simple question, and it's mathematically irrefutable. Right now in the U.S. is approximately 50 million Black Americans. Pardon me, Black people in the U.S. All of them are not even Black Americans. You got Africans, Caribbeans, etc. Simultaneously, it's approximately over 60 million Hispanics in the U.S. I'm asking a simple question. I can't ask it no more simpler than I already asked it. The communities right now, tangibly, where Black Americans are the majority, if we continue to allow millions of foreigners to influx into this country and into those cities, does this increase the amount of majority Black American cities, or does this decrease the total amount of majority Black American cities?
Mm.
And what I'm saying to you is it has nothing to do with the
All right, well, you're
Latinos
delusional, brother.
or
Pass
the
the mic.
immigrant.
Let someone else on the
I,
panel answer
I
because it's not rocket science.
bro, bro,
It's
what
not
you
rocket
are really
science.
failing to realize,
All right, go ahead.
I understand what you're saying, but you actually are not seeing as an older black person
All
that
right.
had grew up in LA, and I'm not in a black city. I'm in Vegas. I grew up in LA, which means I grew up in a melting pot. It was blacks, Mexicans, Italians. It was all of us in LA when I grew
Yeah.
up. Okay, so it's no such thing as the black community as we used to have because there's no such thing as black families
Yeah,
anymore.
but it's still
So yo,
a community. You all keep dismissing the fact
Exactly.
that women and children are families too. Just because there's not a man there
yes, but
doesn't
they're
mean it's not
yes,
a family
but they're not.
or a
They're
community.
not a community though,
He's
HQ.
derailing. You're derailing the discussion. Right now, we're talking about the influx of immigrants. The point is this: the Congressional Black Caucus already admitted that there's a correlation to the increase in immigration and the decrease in the total amount of majority black American congressional districts. So if you want to relinquish all of your power, do it. I'm a mulatto. I'm gonna be all right.
Here's a
HQ,
question.
can I put
Here's
it?
my. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
I was
Then
gonna
I got.
say, can I put it in this perspective? Say you have a small community. You got 10 houses, 10 families. You're the matriarch, you're the head hold. So you, your husband, your kids, and then there's 10 other families just like yours.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's yours. That everybody goes under HQ's rules. They following your rules, they following your guidelines.
Right.
You have a process for people to get in. They come in, you vet them, yada yada yada. You give them their things, they get into another house. Right. Now you got people just coming into your neighborhood, taking up the vacant houses that's in your neighborhood. Yeah, they might be helping to mow the lawns and stuff like that, but you can't control. They haven't signed no documentation. You don't know. I mean, I saw you put the 20 what did it say, 20 billion or whatever was up there, or 20 million in taxes that the illegal immigrants have paid. That's not.
No,
that's
they
nothing.
pay more than that. They pay more than that.
No. It said immigrants paid 400
billion.
400 billion. Illegal immigrants paid 20 billion. That's nothing. That's nothing.
Yeah, but I got this.
How can, to get to my question is, how is it still going to be your community when an influx of people with other values come in, other standards come into your community? You can't control it.
And outnumber you.
Eventually, it's not. Outnumber you. Eventually, it's not going to be yours anymore.
Jay, this is the problem. Jay, this is the problem. When so my uncles, right, in LA, we own the whole block. I got a big family, 13 aunts and uncles on both sides. My mom had 13 brothers and sisters, and my dad had 13 brothers and sisters. And every time somebody left the block because of selling, moving out, like I said, Rancho Cucamonga or with the Pacific Palisades or something, a Latino came in and bought that house. We are selling off our own houses and our own communities. It is not their fault that we do better in life and move and separate and spread out. It's not somebody else's fault that Black people are doing that. I'm sorry.
Actually,
that's not what I'm saying.
Go ahead,
that's not
answer
what I'm
that. I
saying.
cut you off. My bad. Go ahead.
That's like gentrifying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the culture is different that's coming in mass. We're not giving these people time to assimilate because they're not coming in through a filter. They're flooding in. So that you don't, if you traveled the world, like I've been around the world, whatever, but they're coming in with a different culture, a different standard of life. It's a lower standard of life.
What do you mean? What do you
mean? They don't assimilate. You need assimilation
you
into the West.
In order to get along in America, you have to assimilate into this.
You gotta travel some HQ.
We said it. Hold on,
Jay, you derailed from your original point.
HQ, you don't travel enough. HQ, you don't travel enough.
Hold on.
My bad, HQ.
The whole point is, you all think the influx of immigration is bad. I think it makes our country better to have different diverse communities in here. I think it makes us better.
Slowly.
We're never going to be 13% just straight Black people. We have been diluted, white, Black, the whole nine. When in 40 years, 50 years, who cares what this country is going to look like immigration wise?
Me, because I have kids.
Apparently, Donald Trump cares because he's trying to get rid of all the brown and Black people.
Why are you so focused on Donald Trump? Stop being so focused on that man,
I'm not focused on that man. I'm focused on his administration.
But HQ, can you answer the question that Jay asked?
Nobody's been talking about Congress, and Congress has been in for the last 40 years.
Hold on, but Jay, you asked a great question and it got sped past. HQ, with all due respect, he said if you got 10 houses on your block,
right?
Initially, that 10 is occupied by Black Americans, and then over time, the majority of those houses are no longer occupied by Black Americans, can you still call that your community?
Make a different community. What do you mean?
So
See.
be ethnically displaced.
I don't care what the community looks like in 50 years, 60
Hold
years.
on,
I don't care.
but what
As
about your
long as we're not
grandkids?
living in huts. As long as
What it,
as long as everybody can progress. As long as this is the standard of living is the way it is, or it becomes, or it stays the way that it is. I don't care whether the whole community turns black or whether the
but
whole community turns white. That's not
but
my
HQ,
concern.
what about your grandkids?
Y-
What
y'all
about
keep
them?
going to
They will be
y'all
outnumbered
keep
by
going to race.
foreigners.
It's not
Yeah.
about
Let me answer that. Let
race.
me answer that. Your grandkids will be outnumbered.
I'm not going to be here. I don't
Let
care.
me complete the sentence. Your grandkids will be outnumbered by foreigners in their own country. How does that make sense? You created this
They're
environment for
not going
them.
to be foreigners. They're going to be Americans. What do you mean?
No,
Wow.
they're
So
going to be
they'll be
foreigners in
colonized.
Just like
America.
every other
They
They're
will
going to
be
person.
be foreigners
colonized.
in America. They're going to be
Just like
foreigners
every
in
other person.
America.
Right. So
They're not going to be American. They're not going to be
they're
American.
going to be American. Just like they assimilated in the 30s, 40s, 50s, they're going to be American.
And can I
A
say
whole
this,
I mean, I
please?
guess
a
she's
whole
telling
bunch
us
of
what
people
she's telling us, y'all. That HQ's telling us
that
that
I don't
she
care
wants
about that.
everybody to come in. She don't care about the future of the country.
Exactly. And
No,
then her
I don't
grandkids
care
will be
about that.
ethnically displaced by foreigners. And she's all right with that.
There's
This is why
never
blacks are
going
the
to be
bottom
not in
caste.
America. Y'all wilding. Y'all wilding.
But this is
Just like Spain,
blacks.
it's always been
Go
Spain.
ahead.
America's going to be America. What the hell are
This
y'all talking about?
this is why blacks are the bottom caste, because the elders don't care about the youth and the future generations.
I know that
I hate
don't
to
work
say it.
on me, Pan. That don't work on me. I don't have guilt like that. So
No, I'm
don't
talking to the chat and the listeners, not you. Your mind's made up.
because I care about immigrants, because I care about due
You
process,
care about, yes, you care about
because
immigrants
I
more
care
than your
about
own grandkids.
what it is to work to do what we have to do now, what we have
You
to do
care about
we have to do now.
you
Why are
care
we
about
worried
immigrants
about
more than you care about your own
hold
grandkids.
So okay,
on,
so wait, okay,
hold
so
on.
wait.
Why would I care about what's happening 50 years from now? As long as I
Okay,
do the right thing right now.
okay. So what's
Doing the wrong thing right now, though.
is the right thing right now allowing people to come into our country without going through our legal channels? That's
Who's
legally.
allowing
HQ,
that?
please listen, HQ.
Who's
I'm trying
allowing
to
that? Who's allowing that?
You are. You advocating for it right now.
HQ. Yeah, you are, but HQ
No, I'm not.
is
I'm
what's right
advocating.
now allowing people to come into our country legally, or making other places around the world have a higher standard for living so people don't have to mass illegally migrate into our country? What's wrong with these other countries that people are mass migrating here because they know they can
Jay,
take
you
advantage of
know,
our systems?
I have no
Jay,
idea.
you know, like I know because I have traveled the world also. That other
Let HQ
countries are
answer,
better.
good brother. Let the
I
host
know,
answer.
I know, Black, but that's the question I'm
I'm
asking.
saying why?
Why can't these other countries be just
Stay in
as
their
good as
country.
ours is? Why can't they be just as good as ours is?
I
What's the
have no
problem?
idea. I have no
So
idea. I'm
why
concerned.
do we lower our standard to saying, okay, we're gonna allow, because you guys are in
What do you
turmoil
mean
or
lower
strife, we're
your
gonna allow
standard?
you to, we're lowering our standard. We're
How are we
lowering our
lowering our
standard because we're
standard?
allowing illegal people to
How are
come
we
over
allowing
here.
them to come? You all just made the argument a little while ago that these people come in here illegally. How are we
Illegally.
allowing it if they're coming in here illegally? They're
Because
coming
we
Because you
in
don't
here
protect
advocate
our
for them.
borders.
Because HQ,
because what?
you can't gun them down at the border.
At the
Like you can't
border.
just you can't
Some
gun them
countries
down
do,
at the
though.
border.
Some countries do, though. With all due respect, some countries do gun down illegal aliens at the border.
I'm
That's a fact.
saying
Well, this is
you
America.
No,
We
all
I
don't
said
mean,
do
they
that.
yeah.
come in here illegally. So if they come in here illegally, that means we're not allowing them to come in. But once they
That's
come
Actually,
not what that
we have
means. That's not
sanctuary
what that
cities.
means.
that's the way it comes
Murder
across.
is illegal. People still kill people every day.
Right.
Just because
Exactly.
murder is illegal doesn't mean people don't do it.
So what do you mean
We
HQ,
we're allowing them to come
we
in?
allow. Let me tell you, we have
we're not
sanctuary
allowing
cities.
them.
Hold on. Let me answer that. We have sanctuary cities to facilitate the illegal immigration in the U.S.
Wait a minute.
Literally,
What
Yeah, that's
what's wrong
true.
with them? So because they bring low. Wait a minute. Why
that
is it?
means we're
And
allowing
then
it
Wait a
resources
minute.
and then
Hold on.
resources go to
Why
them.
is it
And then
that
resources go to them.
they can't come? What's wrong with
because they
them?
came in illegally. So they cannot come in illegally. They
Okay,
must all go
fine
back
and
to their
dandy.
country.
We fine and dandy. So when we kick them out, they still have to go through due process.
The due process is you ain't got a U.S. citizenship. All right, you're gone.
No,
Now,
that's
who
not how
does
that
all
works.
that? HQ,
Yes, it is.
who takes the time to do all of that now?
That's not how that works. You have to go through the process. They have to
Okay, what's
detain you.
the
Then
process?
they have to take
There
you,
has to be people that need
detain
to be
you.
on the
Then you
payroll
have
in the
to go to
government to
court.
do that, right? People, the courts. Now the court
They
system
have
is
to
overburdened
detain
with
you.
that,
Then they have to take you through court. Then
and
you
now they
have
got
to
to go
go.
somewhere to be detained. So now
No,
you got
that
to
that
build
costs
more
too much of my tax
facilities.
dollars.
Now you got
That
to
costs
police those
that,
people.
that costs
It's a
too much of
lot
my
of
tax
money.
dollars. Yeah,
It's a lot of money. That's a
that
lot of
costs too much of
Doesn't
my
jobs.
tax
matter how
dollars.
much it costs. It's in the
Yeah, it does. It
Constitution.
does. No,
It
no,
doesn't
it
matter
don't
the
apply to them.
cost. It's in the Constitution. You
It
all
don't
want
apply to them.
somebody to get, hold on. You all want somebody to get picked up off the street and then thrown out because he don't have a social
Yes,
security number. That's not how
yes.
that works.
Well, I
Hey,
call ICE
hey,
multiple
every,
times.
Hold
I
hey,
got
on.
illegal aliens
Hold
deported
hey,
myself.
on.
hey,
Hold
hey,
on. You have to go
hold
through
on,
due process first. I'm not
hold on,
saying let
HQ.
them in or let them out. I'm saying if you're going to let them out, you're going to kick them out, then you have to do it the right way, the legal way.
H.
Not because you
Okay,
feel like they got to get
Well,
out. Not
well,
because
thank
you
God ICE
feel
not
like they
listening
don't
to
have.
you.
Hold on. Just because they
oh,
feel
hey,
like they don't have an ID, just because they feel you feel like they look foreign, you cannot do that. You cannot make up stuff just to get them out the door. That is
Well,
what.
H,
Hold
thank God
HQ.
ICE not
So
on.
listening to you.
That
I
is
want,
what this
I want to
administration
say this.
has been doing, making up
I want to
charges
say
and
this, and I'm
throwing
gonna
people
jump
out.
off right quick,
You
HQ.
cannot do that.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna jump off, HQ. So we've been talking all this week about what women want, what is protection. You have three men up here telling you what our protection is for you and this country. And we do
Facts.
not want to see
Damn,
it.
black. Ooh, black.
Great point.
We,
Very great point.
we,
Ooh.
I don't agree with Jay on a lot of things, but me and him walk line and line. I don't even know who this young man is, but it sounds like we disagree on a lot of shit, but we are all telling you for your protection and for protection of our country that these people do not belong here. And we have been talking all week about protection. I
Okay,
just want you to
I
kind of I just want
understand.
you to kind of
I
soak it up
understand.
and look
Yes,
at it from
I
that angle.
soak all of that up, and you have to soak up the fact that I
The
stand
HQ
behind
don't
the
care.
Constitution. You all don't want to stand behind the Constitution.
Do you
I
stand behind
stand.
laws,
Hold
HQ?
on, can I speak? The Constitution says you have to have due process. You cannot just throw people out. You're talking about just
For
throwing people
American
out.
citizens.
You cannot.
For American citizens, HQ, not just because they're people. It doesn't
It,
matter that they're people. Bad people go to jail. Good people go to heaven. Just because they are a people doesn't mean that they belong here. They don't belong here just because
still,
they're living, breathing. They
you
don't. I'm sorry.
still have to follow the Constitution. You cannot throw a person out just because you feel like they should be kicked out. That's what you all keep saying to me. And I'm saying to you, I'm standing behind the Constitution. I'm standing behind what the Supreme Court said. The Supreme Court said you have to have due process. If I decided that I just wanted to follow whatever laws I wanted to follow of the land, just follow any old law, what I felt like happening in the country, I don't follow the Constitution. I just do what I want.
Mm-mm.
Then this is not the country that we want or we want to be a part of. That's not the country I want to be a part of. When
So
my
And
constitution,
please
you
let me
want to
say
follow
this.
the
hold
Constitution,
on,
but not
hold on. When
laws?
my constitution says illegal aliens, regular humans, regular citizens got
We
to go
got it,
through due
HQ. You keep
process,
saying the same thing. You keep saying
because
the
you
same
are
thing,
not are
HQ.
not listening. You are not
But
you
you're
doing
not.
We heard you.
I'm.
We
I
heard you.
you
We heard
you
you.
still
you're
don't
saying
answer
what
the
you want
questions
to
I
feel.
say.
Other we
I'm going from
feel
the
like
front
this.
of it. You putting the cart before the horse. I'm asking the initial questions, and you still
No, you're
haven't
not.
answered it.
The initial
I
question is,
haven't said.
do they have due process?
I haven't said anything about kicking people out. I'm talking about allowing people in.
And I keep
That's what I'm
telling you,
saying.
we're
You're
not
not
allowing
talking
people
about it.
in. You say allow in. I say not
So
allow in.
you are comfortable with them breaking the law, but you're not comfortable with us
I
breaking the
didn't say
law.
anything about
Great
breaking.
That's what
point.
you're saying. You
I
said
That
you
was a
didn't say
great
follow the
point.
anything about
You're
breaking.
following the
Great
Constitution of the law, the laws of the land. You
You're
said, I'm not
not.
gonna follow the
You're
laws of the
talking.
land.
You're talking about something else. You're talking about justifying throwing people out because they came
No,
here illegally. Yes, you are.
I'm talking
But
about not
no, what
letting
you
people
said
in. They're
was,
breaking the
Hold on, but don't
law.
speed past
what
that.
you
You said,
said was
oh man,
they came in illegally, so they don't get the they don't get the protection of due process. So let's kick them out. That's what you
but please
said.
hold on. No, Jay, what he said was you're comfortable with the illegal aliens breaking the law, but you're uncomfortable with us breaking the law, and that's a point you cannot get around.
No, because I haven't had that comparison. You haven't presented that to me, so you don't
I
know what I
just
feel
said it.
find
He
uncomfortable.
literally just said it.
I've been trying to the whole time, HQ. I've been saying that the entire time.
I don't care
I
about
haven't
your
said any.
discomfort. That's not what I'm saying.
I didn't
I
say
came
nothing
up,
about
I
discomfort.
started the stream, and I said to you all, the law is being broken. I don't
Yes.
care about how you feel. I care about the law.
I
What are you
have not
talking
said
about?
about how I felt at all.
Yes,
I
you
didn't
all
say
have.
about discomfort.
Yes,
No,
you
I
all
have
have.
not. Please rewind this and show me where. You can
You
make a
said
clip about it,
they came in here
and I will
illegally.
apologize.
Wait a minute. You said they came in here illegally, so therefore they don't get the due process to get kicked out legally. That's what you said. So that tells me you're in your feelings and not in the Constitution.
How is that in my
You're in
feelings?
your
How's
feelings
that a
and not
feeling
the
though?
Constitution.
How is that a
How was that
feeling
a
of
feeling?
saying somebody
Constitution
broke a
says
law? Saying you broke a
the,
law.
we
So
don't break the
now,
law with them. We
so
don't
Why
break
now
not?
the law because
Why
when
not?
they broke a law, do we have
we
facilities? Do we
don't
have
break the
facilities to
law
house
with
millions of people who have broken the law? If
we do
somebody
not
in
break the law
HQ, if
because
you
they
broke the
do.
law, HQ, if you broke the
We do
law and
not
it's an
break the law
arrestable
because
offense, where are
they
you
do.
going?
Did you hear what I said?
Yes, I hear you, but you're not
We do
listening to
not break.
me.
We do not get to break the law because they did.
Jay,
You keep
don't
going
lose
off
that
something
question.
I'm
Ask
not
that
even
question
talking
again. That was a
about.
good question.
I'm not
If
even
you break the
talking about
law,
that. You
you gonna
keep
you gonna
saying
go
I'm
to
saying
jail.
something that I'm not saying,
Yes,
HQ.
you are saying that.
No, I'm
You
not.
said
Jay, ask the last
why
question
do we
again
even
though.
have to deal with them because they came in here illegally? So we shouldn't even have to get them due process. We just kick them
I
out.
didn't. HQ, if you break the law, and it's an arrestable offense, where are you going?
You're going to a holding cell.
No, if you
You're going to
HQ,
detention. I
if
go to
you
a
break the
holding cell
law,
to be detained. If I break the law, I'm
you going to
going to a
jail.
holding
You're going to jail,
facility
right?
to be detained. Yes,
You're going to jail, right?
that's a holding facility.
So if a American citizen breaks the law, they go to jail.
That's correct.
If
They
someone
go
comes
to a
into
holding facility. Wait a minute,
our
hold on.
country,
Hold on. They just don't go to jail. They go to a holding facility to determine whether I have broken the law. Just like these people have
I
to
didn't
go
say
to
to
a
determine. I
holding
said
facility.
you broke the law.
How do you
If you
know
broke
I
the law,
broke
you're
the
going to
law?
jail.
How do you know I broke the law?
But HQ, let him get to
Wait,
his point because he's
hold
making
on,
a great
hold
point.
on. Stop. How do you know I broke the law?
Because I just said you did.
No,
I
you
just
can't
said
just
HQ,
say I
you
did.
just broke the law.
But you
I'm not see HQ, you're not thinking about what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about you coming into the country. I'm talking about you breaking a law. HQ, if you break a law, you get arrested, you go to court, you go to jail. You broke the law,
Absolutely.
right? If
Absolutely.
somebody breaks the law that's an American citizen, they
Absolutely.
go through that process, right?
Absolutely.
If millions of people are coming into the country and inherently them coming into our country is breaking our laws, how
They
can we
get the
process that?
same treatment that we do. We go through the process, we get determined to be illegal, and then we get deported.
Then how come we have so many illegal immigrants in the country right now
Because
that
people
haven't gone through the
overstay their
process? And
visas. Because they came here legally. They came here legally and they overstayed their visas.
a
That's why
portion of
they're
them,
here.
work visas, school visas, yeah, a
Yes,
portion
yes,
of them,
yes.
yes,
A significant
yes.
portion of them.
So
Significant portion of them.
you mean to tell me that the all the videos that I've seen of people, whatever you want to call them, these caravans on a daily basis coming across our southern border, that's all made up? and them getting onto buses, getting taken into places like Ohio and stuff like that. You mean to tell me that's just all made up video?
I didn't say that.
Those are all actors.
I didn't say that.
So where did they get those student visas from, or work visas? Those people's all student visas or work visas?
I didn't say anything about student visas.
So why you
I said
no. But Jay, just get back to your initial question.
Hold on. I said a significant portion of those people that are here illegally have come legally to our country, and they overstayed their visas. Then there are the ones who came across the border. Some came across the Canadian border. Some came across the Mexican border. But they're not all from across the border. A significant portion of them overstayed visas. So
yes, but HQ, did you hear his question?
You seen that they came here legally. They have to be deported.
No, but his question is why they not locked up? Like we would be locked up if we broke the law.
What do you mean?
We got sanctuary cities full of them. They're not locked up.
We're catching 13 million people, really?
So you agree that there is selective enforcement against U.S. citizens, particularly Black Americans?
Enforcement. I just know that you're not going to catch 11 million, 13 million people.
Well, we have sanctuary cities that facilitate and give them de facto immunity for breaking in the country illegally. Are there any sanctions? Please let me complete the sentence.
Hold on.
All right, go ahead. Make your point. I'm going to make mine. Go ahead.
So sanctuary cities only have illegal immigrants in them.
Yes, I never said that. That's a straw man. My point is,
what are you talking about then?
I'm trying to tell you what I'm talking about, but you keep cutting me off.
You're saying we have sanctuary cities, and you're implying all of those people are illegal. Some of those people are legal.
No, I never said all of them. No, you're not listening. What I'm saying is,
I'm listening. Fine.
Yes, ma'am. So listen now. What I'm saying is, in these sanctuary cities, illegal aliens receive de facto immunity for breaking in the country illegally. Simultaneously, U.S. citizens in these same exact sanctuary cities, when they break the law, they are held legally liable. That, by definition, is selective enforcement.
So, well,
so we must abolish the sanctuary city.
I'm confused about what you think my argument is.
All right.
My argument, I don't care how they came in here. They came in here. They're here. You're arguing about the fact that
so they must go. They're here, so they must go.
I don't care how they're here.
Yeah, so they must go.
Yes,
that's my point. They must go.
And Black made one of the best points, man. All the protection from men that we talking about, and it's like you talking to somebody and they just don't want to be protected.
They don't want it.
You all don't get the whole point. The point, I don't care about whether they're here or not. It doesn't matter whether they're here. They're here, so you have to get them out.
So they got to go. I agree.
Hold on. So you have to get them out legally. That's it. I haven't said anything else. You all are trying to tell me I'm thinking something else. I'm saying our Constitution says they got to get out of here legally. You all want to just kick them out. That's not.
Yes. We must kick them out fast as possible. Yes.
No, they have to go through the process first.
Okay, no, I get you, HQ. No, let's go down her road, Pan. Let's go down her road.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, I got you, HQ. We're gonna go down your road. You got you in a city, right? The population of that city was what, 150K, right? There's an influx of 35 to 40,000 immigrants. Some illegal, some legal, right? But now you got to go through for the policing to go through. Like you said, how do I find out who's legal or illegal? Right. I can't just walk up on somebody and ask them.
Right.
But the burden on that city's population grew astronomically over 3 months, 6 months.
Okay.
How can that city sustain that influx of people? Think about the burden on the economy alone. And all those people is not going to be working instantly. So some people, there's going to be a small influx of criminals that come in with that element as well, right? So yes, there is going to be a small influx of criminals that come in with that population as well for that city. Now policing is being overburdened because they didn't have the numbers to support that population, plus the small influx of criminals coming in. Now, how are you going to find those people? Okay, you start to slowly filter through and start finding illegal people. Now the court system is being overburdened, right? The schools with the kids that come in. Now the classroom sizes went from 12 kids per teacher to 25 kids per teacher. Now your kids is in the class with some students that speak broken English and some kids that don't even speak English. Do you see all the different problems that come from this mass immigration when people don't come through with the right process? When they don't come through and get tested and learn and make sure that they learn at least some English and things of that nature? It's certain things. And you can't have a bleeding heart for this. This is a bigger issue than just getting mad at somebody for kicking people out.
You're addressing something that I have no concern about. I'm concerned about the people. You're concerned about
fair enough.
coming.
Okay, y'all have a good day.
Hold on. Don't run.
I'm done.
You're not listening to what I'm saying.
I don't need to listen anymore. You said you don't care, HQ. You said you don't. You said I don't care. So there's no reason for me to continue talking anymore.
The whole point is, you all want to throw people out the country without due process.
They all must go.
I don't care. Hold on. I don't care how many people are here. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It can be 1,000. It can be 1,000,000. I don't care about that. I care about the fact that you can't throw them out without due process. I don't care how many are here. They have to go through a process. That's it.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. It's our Constitution. If we don't follow Constitution, that means we're doing things illegally. We're doing things with an anarchy mindset. We're doing things in a fascist mindset. That is not our country. Our country follows rules. Our country follows the Constitution.
HQ, so can I tell you something brief?
Hold on. So we have to follow the Constitution. The Constitution, the 5th and the 14th Amendment says everyone is due process, period. You all are concerned about how many people are here. We got so many people. We can't afford them. We can't sustain it. I don't care about that. Deport them all.
Deport them all.
Hold on. Agree. Deport them all, one by one, if that's what you're going to do. But when you deport them, you better deport them legally. Otherwise,
no. They just got to go.
Hold on. You did not hear what I said. We cannot just do what we want to do. We have to follow the law. That's the whole point. Deport whoever you want to deport. Deport all of them. I don't care whether you deport all of them, but you deport them the legal way, the constitutional way, not how you feel like they should be deported. Everybody on this panel said, just throw them out. Just throw them out. They came here illegally. We just throw them out the door. No, that's not how that works.
I never said that once.
I said that.
All the three of y'all said that.
I never said it once. I never said it once.
Well, why should we respect them coming in illegally? Why should we respect how they go out legally? That's what you said. That tells
I never said go out. I never said that. You putting words in my mouth.
So I'm saying to you all, I don't care how many people are here. If they gotta go, they gotta go legally. That's it. You all seem to think my argument is, oh, I'd love to have all these illegal people here. She just loves it. No, that's not what I said. What I said was you could deport all of them, but it has to be legal. That's it.
Yeah, I didn't say we should do that. I just posed a question. I didn't say we should kick them out legally. I never said that. I don't disagree with that, but I never said it.
I'm saying they have to.
But what I said was, how can they break a law and we not break a law? If it's a law, it's a law.
Because we don't break laws because other people break laws.
Yes, we do.
Otherwise,
America does all the time. America does all the time. I don't know what you be watching on TV. America,
don't do that.
Yeah, we do.
We're not supposed to.
We violate human rights on a daily basis.
Let's talk about it. You see how many Black Americans?
Sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
You see how many Black Americans have been shot and killed by the police?
So we're just gonna suspend habeas corpus. Let's suspend due process. Let's suspend all that. Let's just get all the people that are illegal immigrants. Let's just get them all and put them on a boat and just throw them out the country. We don't care how they get out. We just throw them out the country. Period. We just gonna have a deportation day where we just gonna deport every last human being there is. It don't matter where they come from. It don't matter how long they've been here. It don't matter whether they got a baby. It don't matter whether they had children here or not. It don't matter whether they got they're contributing to society. Let's just put them all. If you
They
just
all
got,
must go. If they're here illegally,
if
they all
you're
must go.
brown and you got an accent, you got to go.
Or white.
If you're
Or
white
white
or
illegal
accent, you got
aliens.
to go.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got to go.
why y'all keep going towards race? Why you don't go for
Yeah, it's not about
American
race
and
at all.
non-American?
Because
American and non-American.
You know what?
If you American, you stay. If you're non-American,
Most
you go.
people-
Why
Exactly.
Most human beings, most people that I've talked to on these panels, get them immigrants out of here. The first thing they think about is the Mexican immigrant.
But I call ICE on white immigrants in real life. I got white immigrants deported.
I know there's white immigrants. I know they are.
I called ICE on them.
They come here legally. They come with the visas. Those are legal visas. They overstay those visas. Then they become illegal. But you have to go through a process. That's it.
Where's the poorest white place in the country? Over in Eastern Europe somewhere, one of them stand places. Where's the poor? Where's a other than poor white Americans? Which is, where in the world? I'm seriously asking, like, is it South Africa or like Eastern Europe? Where's poor white? And I'm not talking about rural white or like country white. I'm talking about like urban poor whites.
Maybe Eastern Europe.
Side of
Eastern
America.
Europe, maybe.
Is it Eastern Europe?
Maybe
that's the only place that I could think of. Because every other white place is like, why would they even want to come to the U.S.? The UK is just like the U.S. It's just as bad. They letting immigrants in. And you see what's going on the streets over there.
Yeah, but we have 13 million people. There's a process that has to be done before you can just take 13 million people out of here. Great and fine. But there's no way we're going to get rid of 13 million people. Nobody wants to get rid of 13 million people. It is what it is. Otherwise, they'd be gone. Nobody wants to get rid of them.
I want to get rid of them. That's why I call ICE every day, respectfully.
The politicians don't want to get rid of them. The businessmen don't.
Of course, politicians don't want to get rid of them because they're making money off of them.
That's my whole point. My whole point is why are we calling?
So it has nothing to do with the Constitution. They don't want to get rid of them because they hoping if they stay here long enough, then they're going to get enough documentation in order to be able to vote. And all you need is a driver's license.
Here's the thing.
A driver's license means you have an address, whatever in a state. I can go now to the polls. If you let me in, I'm gonna keep voting for you. If you keep giving me social services and social programs that I can take advantage of, I'm gonna vote for you. I'm gonna contribute my little way. What's that?
Illegal immigrants can't vote.
Illegal immigrants have voted.
They have
not voted. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. I know there's only been 7 cases of illegal immigrants trying to vote. Only 7.
HQ, stop following. Stop.
No, I don't follow anything.
Yes, you do.
Well, hold on, HQ. You can share your screen, literally.
Statistics. I don't.
But let me say this. HQ, you can literally share your screen. There are different cities in Maryland that allow illegal aliens to vote, like Tacoma Park, Maryland, Greenbelt, Maryland, Hyattsville, Maryland.
Cases.
So yeah, that's taking place.
You gotta put it up.
7.
You
said 7 cases.
I want to see it. I want to see.
There's been 7 cases of spontaneous combustion.
No, that is your.
So you just want to remain ignorant?
Your claim is there's illegal immigrants that vote. You pull up something that tells me illegal immigrants vote. Please, I want to see.
All you need is
you literally got your screen shared right now.
I don't know where to look because I ain't never seen it.
Just Google it. Type in.
You see the 7 from? Where did you get 7 from?
I'm talking
Where did you get 7
you.
cases from?
I got that off of the chat GPT. That's where I got
exactly.
it.
So just type it in the chat GPT. Type it in the chat GPT right now, please.
I just got that off the chat GPT.
So type it in the chat GPT right now.
Where does chat GPT get his resources?
I'm not claiming any of that. You claim that illegal immigrants vote. I want to see where you get your sources from.
Well, just type it in the chat GPT.
Go to Google.
I don't know nothing about that. I don't know.
Go to Google.
My stat.
All right. Well, all the listeners, just type it in. You'll see it.
If you go to Google and look up something.
No,
if you go to Google and look up something and you go to one of those free search engines and look up something, you can ask Google or a free search engine the same question. It's going to tell you something totally different depending on who the donors are.
So,
who sponsors ChatGPT?
Your claim is that the illegal immigrants vote. Pull something up that tells me illegal immigrants vote.
They've been voting. I know they vote in Buffalo. I don't know about that, and I know that because I know people in Congress in Buffalo.
I believe you. I believe you. Please pull it up. I want to see.
I don't need to pull it up
because you can't pull it up.
I don't need to pull it up.
I'm on the cell phone. I can't share my screen, but if you type it in the chat GBT, it'll pop right up. Like literally, it's not something that's hidden. Like everyone knows this. You the only one under a rock.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not under a rock. I'm not under a rock.
That was a huge issue in the last election.
No,
they talked up. Yes, it was. They talked about it all the time.
That was just bullshit. It was bullshit.
Okay.
It's smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
It's smoke and mirrors. That's what it is. Pull something up that tells me that illegal immigrants vote. Pull something up that tells
I want to see this 7 number. You talk about me pulling up anything. Immigrants. Pull up 7. Ask your chat GPT right now. You got it up. Why not ask it? 7 people. 7 cases of illegal. There's dead people that have voted. There's dead people that's been voting.
No.
There's dead people that get Social Security checks. Yes, man. All this stuff is proven.
No, it has not been proven. It's been
yes, it
rumored.
has been.
It's been rumored. It has been
proven. No, it's not rumored. It has been proven.
It's
HQ,
rumored.
What do you think scamming is? HQ?
I'll get this.
Why do you think so many people scam? Where do you think scamming is?
This?
How do you think an illegal person acquires a Social Security number? How do you think they get us? Do you think they just make it up? Oh man!
I ain't seen not one. I done read 4 articles. Not one of them say anything about illegal immigrants. Not one. Not one. Can illegal immigrants really vote in the U.S. election? No. Wait a minute. But see, that's a rabbit hole. That's a weird rabbit hole that y'all not gonna
That's not a rabbit hole.
It's a rabbit hole, y'all. I've already been through this.
Hold on. I
know for a fact.
HQ, is that something that you think is that something that you think a government site is actually going to, if you go to a .gov site?
No.
Do you think they're actually going to tell you that illegal immigrants vote?
I go to many sites and I do comparisons, and I've only come up with 6 or 7 illegal people doing some illegal things to vote. Y'all the one. I don't even have to prove that. You all said illegal immigrants vote.
This is something you can't prove.
All right, well, hold on. HQ.
Project Leroy says just because
if I go get a link. Hold on, if I go get a link, I gotta drop down though to do it because I'm on my phone.
I got it. It's something y'all heard. It's something.
No, HQ. If I come back with the link, will you post it on the screen for the listeners?
I sure will.
I'll be right back.
I surely will. I will post it on the screen. But my whole point, the whole point is, yo, wild. You gotta go through the process. Y'all can't just kick folks out. You just can't do that.
HQ, you don't care. Why do you even care about that?
I don't care how many people are here. I don't care.
So why do you care about due process then? I want to ask that. Why do you? If you don't care about why they're here, who cares? Who cares about the Constitution?
I care about the Constitution. I care.
Why?
I care about the law.
You don't. You don't care about the law.
Of course, I don't care about the law.
You don't, because you just said you don't. You said I don't care.
Because I don't care how many people are here. Because it doesn't matter.
So you don't care about the law. So the arguments you should be making on the opposite side
does it make how many people are here? What difference does it make?
The opposite argument you should be making is what we need to do is reinforce our borders to stop illegal people from coming in and breaking the law coming into our country. And then the people that are already here, we need to be putting them through due process to get them out of our country. That's the argument you should be making. And not saying I don't care who's here.
I did make the argument that we have to go through due process. I made that first.
Yeah, but you're not arguing the other side of the law, though.
Because I don't care about the other side of the law.
So you don't care about the law.
I care about the Constitution.
So you only care about what laws you choose to care about. You only care about What
Wait
laws
a
you
minute.
choose to
What
care
law?
about?
What law are you talking about? Strengthening the borders? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Is,
We
is
have
it
enough
if
physical
somebody
laws.
comes into this country undocumented, is it legal or illegal?
You think people just walk through the borders and just be like, doo-doo-doo? They
How
just
come
walk
you
through the
can't
border?
never answer the question, HQ? I'm trying to have a
Because it don't
conversation.
even make sense. What do you
It
mean
does make
strengthen
sense.
the
I asked you a
borders?
straightforward
What do you mean
question.
strengthen the border? We need to strengthen the process of people coming through the border, not the border. We need to strengthen the process of coming through the border.
I asked a
The
straight
courts,
question.
the tribunal courts, all of those things need to be worked on. Yes, they need to be worked on. All of those things, letting people in. That whole
HQ, do you
process
lock
needs to
your
be
doors
worked
at
on
night? Do you lock your doors to your house at night?
because we have laws.
Do you
Yes,
lock the
I
doors
do.
to your house at night? Why? It's supposed to, nobody's supposed to come into your house. It's not their house. They're not supposed to just walk into your house. That's breaking and entering. Even if it's unlocked and they walk in, that's them breaking the law. So why do you lock your doors?
For the safety. So my whole point.
What does Pan say?
So
Checkmate.
we
What does
talk,
Pan say? Checkmate.
What do you mean? What do you mean checkmate? You making it sound like I made an argument against strengthening the borders. I'm confused. You wanted me to break the law. I'm supposed to break the law because somebody else breaks the law? Is that it? I don't understand.
HQ, you arguing something I didn't even make.
No, I made the initial appointment. I made the initial point.
That's not what I just said. That's not what I said. Why you lock your doors? Why do you lock your doors?
Are making other points. You all are on the emotional side of that. I don't care.
I'm not on the emotional side. You said I don't care.
How you put people out. You can put as many people as you want to out. I don't care about that particular process. I care about us putting these people out. And legally, we have to do it legally. We don't do it just how we want to do it. You all made that suggestion. I didn't. I haven't made any argument. Y'all made that argument. I didn't. If you remember, when you came up here on this platform, I said due process.
I'm glad I ate.
Everybody tried to argue me down about what due process said. Then once we figured out what due process meant, now no, it's not due process. It's the border. We got to worry about why they're here. That's not the whole argument.
Yeah, because you put in the cart before the horse. You come in with the backside of the problem before you get to the front. Why do we have that problem in the first place?
No, the Constitution.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's when I came on and I'm talking about first. That's what I'm talking about first.
That's never going to happen.
Yeah, Mr. Walker. She don't peep it. She don't even see it.
Because I'm not making that argument. You all keep thinking I'm going to make that argument. I'm not making that argument. I don't care about that side. No, I'm not. I'm arguing. No, I'm not. I'm saying we have to.
It's literally arguing against yourself.
We have to follow.
Yeah, we want to follow the law. We want to follow the law. So by following the law, keep out of our country unless you come in legally.
You're trying to keep them. Y'all trying to kick them out illegally. That's not following.
See, you're still going back to it.
What? That was my.
We need to follow the law. Yeah, follow the law by not coming in the country. Now y'all just want to kick them out.
They're already here. What law?
I can't kick you out if you don't. I can't kick you out if I don't allow you in. If I can,
they're going to allow people in. They have visas.
Yes, legally.
They have work
visas. Yes. And we need to crack down on that too.
So
we need to crack down on that too, because that's our laws. That's our laws. It don't matter. It don't matter. Though you broke the law, you're here on a visa. You're not a citizen. You didn't get your citizenship. So why do we have all these definitions of things if we're not going to follow it, HQ?
We have to do the due process way of getting you out. Don't just get kicked out.
HQ, what is a woman? What is a woman, HQ?
I don't know. I know one when I see one, though. I know one when I see one.
I don't care. So?
Yeah, I think she is too.
I don't care. I don't care about what happened in 50 years.
What the hell is a tether? What are y'all talking about?
They wear sandals.
Oh, shit. Hell no. Never open toe. Wait a minute. What the hell? Pan mulattism. You can come
Oh
on.
my
Oh,
goodness.
see, I hate when people. You can come on and put that link in the back chat. Come up here
I
and
need
put
some.
that link in the back
Where
chat.
Leon King at, man? I need some blood pressure medication.
Y'all wild. Does HQ have on one earring? What? Oh shit, I do have one earring on.
She done shook the earring out.
How?
Mr. Mr. Nate down the street knocked that bad boy out.
And shut up, Jay. This wasn't even supposed to be a stream, and now I got y'all's ass up here arguing with y'all about due process. The only thing I came on here to put up was we can't do this without doing the due process and the law. And then y'all jumped y'all's ass on the.
They can't get here if we don't allow them in legally. How about that one? They got to come in legally.
Okay.
How about that? How about we just stop that before? How about we build that wall?
So how do we stop
build that wall?
Okay.
Build that wall.
Yeah, but how do we?
China built the wall.
So
China built the wall, and we love it. Everybody love it. We go to visit it all the time, walking on it, taking pictures of it. You can see it from space. How come we can't build the wall?
So what do we do about the people who got here legally? What do we do about them?
The same process as everything else.
Just like going to,
right? just like if you here on a 6 month, 9 month, 18-month visa, work visa, student visa, right? Mm-hmm. Just like your driver's license, if you in one of those states where your driver's license expires and you got to go renew it, you need to stay on that. And if you don't do, penalties are going to be incurred. There needs to be certain penalties for certain laws when they're broken. Do you need jail time? No. Do you necessarily need to be deported back to your country of origin? No, but there are penalties that need to be incurred. Maybe there's some financial penalties that need to happen, right? Maybe there needs to be limitations on this, on stuff, restrictions. Okay. I don't know, but it's not that hard.
Absolutely. I believe in all of that. But I don't care about that right now. I care about due process first, following the Constitution first. That was never my argument. That was never from the law. See, y'all think I'm arguing against. I'm not arguing. We can't do that first. The people are already here.
So what? How are you so comfortable with skipping the steps that come? See, I'm military taught. I don't have a college education. I don't have a college education, right? There's an order of operations when they teach us to do maintenance on certain things. There's certain steps that you have to follow. And if somebody comes and does a quality check on you and you don't follow those steps, if you miss one step, or if I use the wrong brush to clean something because doesn't have the right number on it, it's to make you accountable for is to pay attention to detail. If they're not following the process, HQ, we just gonna say, I don't care. Jay, are we just going to do that? We're just going to be a country that says, I don't care?
Jay, you're talking about before they get here, right? Before they get here, right?
And when they get here.
I'm talking about after they're here. You're talking about before. I don't care about before. I'm talking about after. You are talking about before. I'm not talking about before. You want me to make an argument for people being here? Let's strengthen the laws. Let's strengthen the border. Let's do all that good stuff. Yeah, yes. I'm for all of that. So what do we do now that they're here? That's what I'm concerned about.
Deport them.
We cannot deport them without due process. That's it.
Can you share the link that I put in the back chat, please?
What does this say?
It's about the illegal aliens.
Make it on the screen, buddy.
Cell phone rules for Virginia's schools. The Virginia Department of Education released its guidelines establishing a bell-to-bell ban on cell phones. You can find those details on our website.
What city is this?
School cell phone.
Virginia.
It's your voice, your vote, and new this morning. More than 6,000 non-citizens are now eligible to vote in local elections in the city of Frederick. The Board of Aldermen approved that legislation in a 4-1 vote. Now, that makes Frederick the largest city in Maryland to take such action. Mm-hmm. Supporters say all residents, regardless of their legal status, pay taxes, so they should have a voice. But opponents argue this diminishes the hard work of those who went through the process to become a naturalized U.S. citizen. 7 News reporter John Gonzalez spoke with John Funderburk, who was part of a city commission that studied
so they can legally vote.
This issue last year.
And they're illegal aliens.
They can legally vote. They're not illegally voting. They're legally voting.
Exactly. They're illegal aliens.
Whoa. You made it
Please,
seem as though they were illegally voting. They're not illegally voting. They're legally voting.
So our Hispanic community to be, to pay taxes. We're requiring them to participate in all of our local activities that make our community better, so they should have a voice in our community. They shouldn't be second-class citizens.
What do you say to political parties who say this is just a way for one side to get more votes?
You have to give people the opportunity to participate in the electoral process. This is what America was founded on.
Legally, they're voting, not illegally voting.
I've already said what I said.
Yes.
They're not going to. I
can't argue about that. I'm saying there's no illegal immigrants voting. You're saying they're voting legally. This is a legal process.
No, HQ, what I'm saying is, I heard you. Are you able to hear me now? It'll be brief. It's one sentence.
Go ahead.
My point is that it's illegal aliens voting in different municipalities throughout the U.S. already.
But they're legally voting.
No, I'm not denying that. What I'm saying is they are illegal aliens.
They're not illegally voting.
No, I never said that. That's not my point.
All right, then we got it.
She's missing the point.
Illegal aliens are voting legally.
Yes.
You implied that illegal aliens are illegally voting. We don't.
No. The implication is that illegal aliens are disempowering the black vote demographically and numerically.
But HQ, do you think that a major news source that's being paid, all these MSNBC, all the CNN, Fox News, all these places, right? Do you think they're going to undermine our voting process and actually come out and tell us that illegal? I don't care who it is, even if they want to kick, send ICE and kick illegal immigrants out, they're not going to undermine the voting process, because that's how we believe we have power on a state level. On small municipalities and stuff like that, we have more power. On a federal level, we don't have the power like that. They can vote. If you have a driver's license, you can just go down and vote. All you got to do is show your driver's license and vote.
Wait a minute, I just said they're voting legally.
No. I'm talking about if I come into the country,
they're not jumping into the booths voting illegally. These illegal aliens are being legally cleared to vote. That's different from what he implied. He implied that illegal aliens are walking in there voting.
It's much different. I got a question.
That's not what I said, but go ahead, brother.
I got a question. Where exactly in the country are you from? East Coast, West Coast, where you from?
I'm from Maryland.
Oh, okay. So
I gotta go Maryland, my son.
All right, Jay. I'll let you later, brother.
Look forward to arguing with you again.
The problem is, young man, that it's not a lot of black people in Maryland, bro. And so their vote is not going to
Hold on, brother, you're wrong. Hold on, brother. Maryland has one of the highest black percentages in the country. You're wrong about that. Maryland has
how many black people are in Maryland, sir?
Are you saying percentage wise or raw numbers?
Raw numbers. Maryland is a small place. Right, and it's a couple of million people in one neighborhood in LA. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Maryland is a little bitty. It's a little bitty place. If their vote is not going to outweigh the black vote, if the black people vote, do you understand what I'm saying? They are not going to disenfranchise you because you can't be disenfranchised as
one mic at a time, brother. One mic at a time.
And I was speaking.
What you're saying is wrong. Step by step. Because what you're saying is wrong. So, let's not have a monologue. Let's have a dialogue. So, make your next point, and I'm gonna respond to your next point. Go ahead.
Okay, so answer the question. How many black people were in America?
I've already answered that, a couple million.
Okay, so what's the black percentage then in America, sir?
Wait a minute. What's the
Approximately 35 to 40%.
35. So you're saying it's damn near half. So 26,000. That's what the man said on the news thing. 26,000 are really going to be able to disenfranchise black people in any shape, form, or fashion. Is
That
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 what you're
was just
trying to tell me?
No, that was just one city. You didn't listen, brother. That was just in Frederick, Maryland. There are also other municipalities in Maryland that allow illegal aliens to vote, like Hyattsville, Maryland, Greenbelt, Maryland, Tacoma Park, Maryland, Bladensburg, Maryland, etc.
So
Okay.
you got almost 2 million people that are black in Maryland. Almost 2 million people. Yeah,
Yes, approximately.
almost 2 million, close to 2 million. Out of almost seven, out of almost 6.1 million, you got almost 2 million black people that live in Maryland.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is the little 26,000, or even if it's 100,000, even if it's a half a million, is this is what I'm saying. Even if it's a half a million people that can now legally vote, right? They're not doing anything illegal, that can now legally vote. They are going to outweigh 2 million people voting. This
Yeah,
is the
well,
thing.
hold on, brother. Once again, you're not listening. That was just one city. That was Frederick, Maryland.
No,
That was where
I took the
one
number
mic
up
at a
to
time,
even a
brother. Please,
half a
one mic at a
million.
time. Let's go
I
one
took
step
the
at a
number
time,
up to
brother.
a half a million.
One step at a time, brother. When they said the 26,000, they were referring to Frederick, Maryland. That's just one town in Maryland. So if you're black in that town of Maryland, yes, your vote is being disempowered by the illegal alien vote. That's irrefutable. Additionally, I could have said Hyattsville, Maryland, which is approximately 29% Black American and approximately 33% Hispanic. Yes, the black vote in Hyattsville, Maryland is definitely disempowered by the illegal alien vote. I could have said Greenbelt, Maryland. Once again, I could have
Okay,
said
okay,
Tacoma Park, Maryland.
okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
you already said it's 29% black and 33% Mexican. The black
Mm-hmm.
And that,
people
no, I didn't
already
say
don't
Mexican.
have the power.
No, I didn't
You
say
were
Mexican.
Latino. What did you say?
Yes.
You said Latino or something.
I said,
It doesn't
I
matter.
said,
They all.
hold
I'm
on, brother. You just
American.
said it. Hold on, brother. One mic at a time. You just said it. They are not the majority, and the percentage of the population is decreasing due to mass illegal immigration. What part of that you don't understand?
That's not what it's due to.
Yeah, yeah, brother.
That's
The numbers don't lie,
that's
brother. The numbers
okay.
don't
How
lie. Let
old
me
are you?
ask you a question.
But
Let's
that's
make it
not
more
due.
simple.
How
That's
old are
not
you?
necessarily due to illegal immigration. That people could be
And
moving.
No,
People could
it's
be
not. And
like
this
well, let's have a
exactly
dialogue. Let's have a
that's what I'm
dialogue.
asking.
that
All right,
don't
go ahead.
How
make
Make
sense.
your
old are
point.
you,
I'm gonna
young
make mine.
man?
Go ahead.
No, I'm
How
saying.
old are
Make your
you?
point.
Wait a minute. Hold
I'm
on. I'm
35. Make your point.
You said that's
So
because
my
of
this is my
illegal
point.
immigration. That's not why this happening.
This is this is my point. When you get married
Yes.
and you get older and you get a family
I got
and you
three
start
wives.
having kids,
I
oh,
got three
okay,
kids and
fine.
three wives.
Me, me. Well, I have
What?
more kids, but I have the exact amount of
Okay.
women. So
Uh huh.
when you start doing better, you get a better opportunity, and
Uh huh.
you, let's say, move to Texas, or you move to Louisiana or Florida,
Yes.
or maybe even
Yes.
come on the West Coast. You are moving. It's not because you're moving because of the immigrants that have came. You are moving because you as a person are moving and doing what's best for you.
Yes.
What
And
I
let me
just
respond to that.
what
Hold on.
I
Let's go one
what
step at a time, brother. Let's like I said. Let's not monologue. Let's dialogue. Now the point is this, and it'll be so brief. Actually, no matter where you move into the country as a Black American, the total number of majority Black American cities, towns, and counties is decreasing due to the influx of immigration. Additionally, yes, I said it before. if you are in one of these cities in Maryland, matter of fact, I'll give you an example that you're less emotionally attached to. If you have a room and there are 10 people with black shirts, those 10 people with black shirts have 100% of the voting power. If you flood that same exact room with 10 people with yellow shirts, those 10 people with black shirts only have 50% of the voting power. If you flood that same room with uh 10 more people, so it's 20 people with yellow shirts and only 10 people with black shirts, the 10 people with black shirts are no longer the majority and their voting power is diminished. How you don't understand that simple point, brother? The same thing is going
And
on in these cities in the US.
this is what I want you to understand. Okay,
Yes, yes.
black Americans have never been the majority. We've
No,
always been
no, but we had
the
majority black cities though. Let's focus on that. Not the
never,
majority of the nation. We had majority
never,
black cities. Well, we can
never.
name the cities that were majority black. We had Baltimore. We had DC, the nation's capital. It's not majority black no more,
Yes,
but we had it,
you want to
right?
name all
We
shitty
had
places?
Atlanta.
Listen,
No, let's have a dialogue, brother. We had Atlanta.
once again, a
All right, go
shitty
make your point.
place.
Make your
I'm,
point.
I'm
Actually,
talking
no.
about
Atlanta
a
was a
major
black mecca.
city.
Atlanta was a
Listen,
black mecca. Have you been in Atlanta, brother? It's not a shitty place.
yes, I own a
Okay.
lot of property down
All right
in
then. So you
Macon,
know it's not a
Georgia.
shitty place.
The-
We had PG. Let's
yeah,
talk about. We had PG County.
it, it,
We had PG County, Maryland, which is the richest majority black county, and the black population in PG County
yes,
is
but it's
decreasing.
so
As
small.
make your point.
It's 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 so
Hold on. Do you
small.
know the population of PG
What
County? Just for the record, do you know the
what?
population of PG County?
No, but I went through
Okay,
there.
so
One of
you
my
don't know that
daughters.
it's small,
Listen,
brother.
one of my
It's
daughters.
approximately a
Listen,
million
one of
people in
my
PG
daughters.
County, brother. It's
Listen, one
approximately
of
a
my
million people.
daughters
It's not
go
a
to
small
Virginia
place.
State, bro.
Exactly.
One of
So
my
PG
daughters
County is
go to
approximately.
Virginia State.
So one mic at a time. PG County is approximately a million people. You cannot say that's a small place. Okay? When we talk about PG
It,
County, that was once
it's
the richest
it's
black
not
county.
entirely black.
No, I didn't say it was. I said it was once the richest majority black county throughout the U.S. Now
I
it's the second
I under,
because
I
I go
under,
make your point.
I
God damn it, make your point.
understand. I understand, but you keep on running over your own shit. What I'm telling you is,
Uh huh.
at at a country with over 350 million people in it, and
Yes.
black people being about 44 million, 44 to 50 million,
Yes. Yes.
we have never, and will never be the majority in
No, no, we never
any
said that.
city
That's not
or
the claim.
any.
Hold on, brother. You're not
Them,
listening. That's not the claim. The claim is that we once had majority black cities, and in these same cities that used to be majority black, the black population is decreasing as the total number of immigrants is rapidly increasing. How you don't understand that point?
okay, why? Why? This is my question to
Let
you
me, let me answer that. Let me
as a
answer that.
young person, and you
All right,
don't
go ahead.
see it. Why do you think me and HQ are old, right? And
Yes,
so
I,
we
I, I can tell how
realize
you
that
dialogue.
older,
You're old.
and we can tell as
Yes.
older people, when you get
Uh huh.
older, you move cities, you move
Uh huh.
countries, you move houses, you move
Uh huh.
all these things. And what I'm telling you is that just because of somebody else is coming in, it's because of they are replacing the people that left.
I'm
Black
glad you said it.
people leave.
Replacing. Hold on,
Black
you just said it.
people, black,
Hold on, stop that,
black
brother. You're trying
people.
to monologue. Let's have a
No, I
dialogue,
can't.
brother.
I can't because you need to
Brother,
let me land.
let's
Black,
dialogue and not monologue. So let
let
me
me.
respond to the point you just made. Please, brother, let's
I
go step
haven't
by
made my
step.
point.
You made
I haven't
multiple
made my
points.
point
You made
yet.
multiple
I
points. Let
haven't
me
made my.
respond.
I haven't made my point yet.
All right, go ahead.
Give
Please
me
20
15 more.
seconds and then pass me the
Give me.
mic.
Give me. Man,
Please take
I
20
don't
seconds
like
and
this.
pass me the
I
mic.
don't like HQ. I don't like this new
Hold on,
guy
everybody.
HQ. But listen, listen. When
Y'all up here arguing about things I wasn't even talking about. We got away from the illegal immigration. I thank you two gentlemen for being up here. I thank y'all too. But y'all had me here all night arguing about something that's irrelevant. We are not decreasing Pan American. We're not decreasing because of illegal immigration. We're not decreasing because of immigration. We're decreasing because of trends. People move, people die. all kinds of things. We're not being overran by immigrant population. I don't know why y'all keep thinking that, but that's not how that goes. We get replaced just like they get replaced. It just grows. We just grow. It just is what it is. I'm not saying anything about migration. I'm not saying anything about people coming here or not coming here. It's a melting pot. They're not going to make or break me whether they're here or they're not here. You all seem to think it will. It doesn't. It doesn't make or break you. They don't even have a factor in my life or the way I am. I came up here to talk about due process, which is afforded to every person that walks on our land. Due process. I'm not arguing about them when they get here. I'm not arguing about before they get here. I'm not saying strengthen the borders. I'm not saying doing any of those things. Of course, we need to do those things. But I care about when they're here, when you want to kick them out, there has to be a process. It has to be a way that those things are done. We can't just do what we want to do and how we want to do it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything else. People saying, well, she care about this. See, y'all want to convolute the whole thing. I don't want to convolute that. Mr. Walker, $2. Thank you. Hold on. Rain, $4.99. We are also supposed to be guarding our borders, but the last administration left them wide open. No, they didn't. Every administration has left them the way they are. It has nothing to do with Biden. It has nothing to do with Barack Obama. It has nothing to do with Trump. They're just going to leave them open because that's the way they want them to be. It has nothing to do with the administration. We can't afford it, HQ. We can afford it. We can afford it just fine. Now we can really afford it, seeing as how this president fired all the people that was up there, whatever. But this is not what the channel was about. I just opened up to introduce the channel called A Petty Politic. That is the channel. It's called A Petty Politic. To introduce it, to have reactions to political things. Thank you guys for coming up. Otherwise, I'd be here all night dealing with you too, because you can argue back and forth, especially you, Pan-African and Mr. Black America. Thank you all for coming up. Thank you all for coming up. But we got to end the stream because I haven't eaten since 10 o'clock this morning and I'm starving and I'm starting to get weak. So I will talk to you all some other time.